Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Three assembly by elections are throwing up three different stories as the counting is still underway. Now, Suraaj founder Prashant Kishor is leading in Bihar's Bankipur in his electoral debut. The Congress is comfortably ahead in Madhya Pradesh's Datia, while the BJP has won Gujarat's Manjalpur. Now, the Bankipur contest is being watched very, very closely, as everyone knows, because a win for Kishore would give Suraaj its first electoral victory months after the party failed to win any of the 238 seats it contested in November 2025 assembly elections. In Manjalpur, the BJP has retained the seat while the Congress is leading in Datia. In fact, the leads are getting wider as far as Datia and Bankipur are concerned. Now, if the BJP loses Datia, if the BJP loses Bankipur, what are the larger indicators? Now, how Narottam Mishra's ticket was denied to him, everybody knows. What followed after, I'm not going to repeat that. But is it a sentiment which is reflecting against the BJP as far as these by-elections are concerned? Joining me this evening is political editor of the Federal, Puneet Nicholas Yadav. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. We have senior journalist and political commentator TK Rajlakshmi. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi, for joining. And we have Faizan Ahmed, senior journalist, joining us from Patna. And let me begin with Faizan. I want to understand from you, what is the latest from Bankipur? What I saw a half an hour back was that Prashant Kishor apparently is leading by more than 6,000 votes. Is that correct? And what is the latest you're hearing?
Now it is a 24th round is going on, and Prashant Kishor has uh, maintained a lead of about 14,000 votes.
All right.
So
Okay.
we can now say that Prashant Kishor is going to enter the Bihar Assembly, and this will be the first uh, representation of Suraaj in the legislature. See, the contest was very keen, very tough. The BJP seat was uh, belonged to Mr. Nitin Naveen, the national president of BJP, who won this seat regularly from 2006 up to 2025. I mean, four times he won this. And before him, his father, Mr. Naveen Kishore Prasad, he won this seat also four times, beginning from 1995. So BJP was winning this seat from since 1995 without any break, and this seat belonged to, we can say that belonged to the family of Nitin Naveen. But now this seat was challenged by BJP's the most strong fort. We can say that in Bihar, Bankipur is the strongest fort of BJP, which the party never lost in the last 30 years. But this time, I don't know whether the BJP realized it or not, that they are facing a very tough contest from Mr. Prashant Kishore, because the party was saying that it can uh, field anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry, and he will win because of the BJP. But now this proved to be a misconception
So
of the BJP.
Faizan, would you see this as not only a failure of the BJP, but this was first big test of Nitin Nabeen after he became the president, and apparently he's not able to deliver his own bastion, his own stronghold.
Yes, yes, that's true. And not only Nitin Naveen, this was also a test for the Chief Minister, Mr. Samrat Chaudhary, because under him, this was the first election, and only one seat, just one seat he, and there was a perception that BJP and Samrat Mr. Suraaj and National President Nitin Naveen, they will leave no stone unturned to win this prestigious seat, because in the last 30 years they never lost the seat. And now, when they have their own government, their own chief minister, first ever BJP chief minister, the seat was vacated by Mr. Nitin Naveen, who was promoted to the national president of BJP. But I think there are several factors were working against BJP in this election. Uh, if you give me time, I just mention a few of them. First
Yes.
of all, first of all, the BJP changed its candidate. This is the first time that in the history of BJP that it changed its candidate midway, when the election process was already on. It changed its candidate. Secondly, they fielded a person who nobody knew in the Bankipur constituency. Even though the first candidate also, he was also not very known face in this constituency, and now this person, okay, he may be a very committed party worker, very simple person, but he was not a familiar face, not even for the BJP workers. So it was very difficult for the BJP to workers for to campaign for him. And one thing more, his contest was with Mr. Prashant Kishor. At least Prashant Kishor has never contested an election in his life. He is poll manager, or what you can say that. But it was the first time he was contesting election, and at least he is known across the country as an election manager of various parties, including BJP and JDU and Congress and Mamta's party. And people, you see, Bankipur is the only 100% urban constituency in Bihar. 100% urban constituency. It has the highest literacy rate. Here people have this maximum this literacy, as well as they are um, employees, they are businessmen, so everybody is working. So it is was the perception of the people of this constituency that their representative in the assembly should be some educated person who can speak about their issues, of the issues of this constituency and about the problems of the people. So they accepted and they preferred Mr. Prashant Kishor over other candidates.
All right, now let me come to Puneet and get a perspective of Datya also, where the leads have widened. In fact, on the screen, we have the latest bite coming in from Narottam Mishra. Let's play that out and then I'll go to Puneet. Shravan, if you're there backstage, can we have the play out,
और
please?
बधाई जनता को, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीतेगी, मैं प्रारंभ से ही कह रहा हूँ।
ये आपकी एक मेहनत है, क्योंकि मंच से जो
मेरी अकेले की मेहनत नहीं आंकना चाहिए उसमें। भारतीय जनता पार्टी में सामूहिक प्रयास होता है तो जिम्मेदारी सभी की रहती है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने मेहनत की है, प्रदेश अध्यक्ष जी ने मेहनत की, सबने मेहनत की है, सभी कार्यकर्ता लगे रहे।
15 राउंड की गिनती में क्या आपको लगता है कि लगातार बीजेपी
अभी तो लगातार जीती रही?
कितने वोटों से
नहीं, अभी आंकलन नहीं, थोड़ी सा रुकी, इतनी जल्दी भी क्या है।
सर, राजेंद्र भारती को ठीक एक दिन पहले काउंटिंग से पार्टी से निष्कासित किया गया।
वो पहले भी निष्कासित हो चुके हैं। वो कांग्रेस देर से आई है। भ्रष्टाचार जिस व्यक्ति ने किया, जो न्यायालय से सिद्ध हो गया, तिहाड़ जेल चला गया, जो कई पार्टियों में रह चुका, वो आधा दर्जन से ज़्यादा पार्टियों में रह चुके हैं, 4 पार्टियों से तो चुनाव भी लड़ चुके हैं, तो इसलिए उनके लिए ये कोई नई बात थोड़ी। घनश्याम सिंह ये सारी बात बोल चुके हैं, उन्हीं की बात दोहरा रहा हूँ।
So the ticket was denied to Narottam Mishra, but what I was also watching, Puneet, on other TV channels, apparently their workers have been, Congress candidates' workers have said that they were getting a lot of help from Narottam Mishra's Karikartas. Now, how do you see this battle playing out in Datia, and what is the current lead by which the Congress candidate is leading?
Yeah, well, as of now, Neelu, you see the Congress candidate, Ghanshyam Singh, who's also from the Datia Royal, he's part of the Datia Royal family. He's been a MLA twice before from this constituency. And he's also a local of Datia in that sense, you know, unlike a Narottam Mishra, who doesn't belong to Datia. He's represented that seat thrice. He's widely popular in that constituency, as people in the BJP keep, you know, talking about, and his supporters keep saying. But he doesn't belong to Datia. He belongs to a neighboring constituency, which is basically part of Gwalior, which is the Dabra Assembly constituency, which he used to represent before Dabra became reserved for SC candidates, and he had to then eventually move from Dabra to the Datia constituency. But, you know, I was listening to his bite. I don't know what time of day it was recorded, but the one thing that kind of stood out for me in that bite was the emphasis that he gives on the chief minister camping in the constituency and, you know, to canvass for the BJP candidate, all other senior leaders, ministers, workers of the party kind of campaigning for the BJP candidate, Mr. Ashutosh Tiwari in Datia. I think he basically, what he wanted to say was that despite all of you campaigning, you still did not win. You know, and this is the price that you've paid for denying me a ticket. Now, whether Mr. Narottam Mishra being fielded from Datia was a guarantee for victory for the BJP or not is something I don't want to speculate on, because there is, of course, a sense that things weren't very good for Narottam Mishra over the last few years. You know, he lost the 2023 elections by about 7,700 odd votes to Rajen Bharti, the Congress candidate, who was then suspended, disqualified from the assembly last year because, you know, he was convicted with a 3-year term in a bank fraud case. But even when Narottam won the seat in 2018, despite, you know, this strong man image, super chief minister image that he had cultivated in Datia and the state, his victory in 2018 was also by a very narrow margin of just about 2,600 votes against Rajen Bharti, you know, the Congress candidate who eventually won in 2023. So there is, of course, that variable also that one needs to consider, that fine, yes, Mr. Narottam Mishra any day was a far more known face in Datia than the current BJP candidate, Ashutosh Tiwari. He was a candidate with in Datia and beyond the, you know, the wider Bundelkhand area, had a strong image, had the resources to contest an election, all of that. But that didn't play out well for him. What also makes this election very interesting, and this result particularly interesting, is that if you go by the reports of sabotage of the BJP by Narottam Mishra's supporters, there was also sabotage of the Congress by supporters of Mr. Rajen Bharti, who wanted the ticket to be given to somebody from his family, and was not, that was not accepted by the party, and the party fielded Ghanshyam Singh, a close acolyte of Mr. Digvijay Singh, former chief minister, who camped in Datia and campaigned for Ghanshyam Singh, put aside his differences with the PCC president, Mr. Jeetu Patwari, and ensured that Jeetu Patwari also campaigned extensively in Datia. And there was still this whole talk of sabotage by Rajan Bharti's supporters. And just yesterday, a day before counting, the Congress suspended Rajan Bharti from the party. So there is also that, so if there was sabotage for the BJP, there was also sabotage for the Congress. And if you actually go through the trends as of now, there is a third candidate in Datya, Mr. Damodar Yadav. He also goes by the name Damodar Mandal, who was fielded by the Azad Samaj Party, of Chandrasekhar, who's polled over 15,000 votes. Now, from my conversations with people in Datya, a lot of the votes that have come Mr. Damodar Yadav's way are votes from wards where the Congress actually used to pick up a lead. Now, in that kind of a scenario, for the Congress to still manage a lead of over 12,000 votes as of now, about 13,000 votes is the lead for Mr. Ghanshyam Singh. It shows a very interesting election in that sense, where you've got BJP sabotaging the BJP, Congress sabotaging the Congress, but then the Congress lead still being way more than Mr. Narottam Mishra's lead of 2018 or the Congress's own lead of 2023. So there is definitely one thing that you cannot deny, that there is a chunk of votes that are decisively anti-BJP votes. These are not Narottam Mishra's votes or Rajan Bharti's votes or Ashutosh Tiwari or Ghanshyam Singh's votes. These are anti-BJP votes, and that is what should worry the BJP in Datya. And this is despite the fact that the Chief Minister, as Mr. Narottam Mishra pointed out, despite the fact that Mohan Yadav, the Chief Minister, camped in that constituency for several days to, solicit votes for Ashutosh Tiwari. Mr. Narottam Mishra was made to, share the stage with the BJP candidate and shed a few tears, saying, that this is a BJP seat, he wants the BJP to win and all of that, which is, all of that rhetoric. So, in many ways, the Datya election, I would say, I would perhaps, even make it, say that this was a more interesting election than even the Bankipur election in that sense. Because the variables here were way too many.
I'm wondering about those allegations that, the elections are rigged, the EVMs are tampered, the electoral list is tampered. What happens to those allegations, when they often come up during elections? Was Election Commission in a pious mode, doling out a totally honest election? Is that what we assume now then?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to second guess that because, what you see happening in by-elections and what you see happening in the actual general election are two completely different things. I'm not saying that the Datya trends are going to continue in 2028 when Madhya Pradesh goes for its full assembly election, or that the Bankipur trends are going to continue in 2030 when Bihar goes for elections. But as of now, the signs are not good for the BJP, whether you call it a fair election or not, because as I said, in Datya, you had the issue of sabotage from both the parties. Now, in that kind of a scenario, even with or without, the allegations of fair play or the lack of it, it's anybody's guess who wins that kind of a poll. And Bankipur, again, the sirens really should go off for the BJP. If you're losing the seat held for 30 consecutive years and currently represented by your national president, and a constituency that is actually tailor-made for the BJP, not just the current BJP, but the traditional BJP, upper caste, upper class, urban, all of that. Everything that is associated with the BJP, not just Modi's era BJP, but, the BJP from the 80s onwards. a very urban party, a party of upper castes and upper class, and all of that. All of those factors play out in Bankipur, and you still manage to lose that seat. And don't forget that, the Bankipur seat is one constituency where the BJP has not just won since 1995. Mr. Nitin Nabeen since 2006, when it was called Patna West and then eventually Bankipur. And before that, his father. But the victory in that seat for the BJP has consistently been with a vote share of over 65-70%. Mr. Nitin Nabeen, when he won his first election in 2006, when this was still called the Patna West constituency, had polled 82% votes. In the 2025 elections, he had polled 70% or thereabouts, 69 odd percent votes in Bankipur. So from that to now coming below 50% and losing the seat is a huge swing. Having said that, the alarm should also go off for the RJD in a sense that
Absolutely.
as a traditional, the legacy opposition, you failed. Tejashwi Yadav entered the campaign towards its fag end. He was holidaying overseas for most part of the campaign. Even if this only shows a shift in urban votes, it is still something that the RJD needs to sit and introspect. That eventually, if this allows the Jan Suraaj and Prashant Kishor to grow, it's a matter of a few years before they start expanding and poaching not just leaders from, maybe the Janata Dal United, the RJD and the BJP perhaps, but also expanding into that voting category of, getting those voters in these areas who would not, committed voters perhaps, but fence sitters.
Right.
For both the ruling and the opposition combined.
Right. Let me come to Rajlakshmi now. That does it look like a clear anti-incumbency against the BJP? What Puneet pointed out, there were various factors, and these were BJP traditional seats, and where BJP has been winning for years. And if there the sentiment has shifted for a player like Prashant Kishor in Bankipur and against BJP in Datia, do you think that this student protest movement, which was on in the middle of that, the election happened, could that be a trigger for the people to vote against BJP?
It's quite possible, Neelu, because I think the trends are on unexpected lines. I think because I do not think that the results have been announced as yet. So we'll speak in terms of trends, and yes, the issue of paper leaks as well as unemployment, they were huge issues, in in these Bypolls, and I think that I think that they have sort of played a huge role here, because there's no way by which the Bankipur seat could have been lost. Of course, Datya I think could have gone either way because of the reasons that Puneet also mentioned, because of sabotage from both sides. So it could have gone either way, but even there was this undercurrent, of anger, which I think which stemmed from the July 20th events, and of course, prior to that also, in terms of the paper leaks that occurred and students committing suicides, and of course, unemployment has been a constant kind of a refrain throughout. But yes, it's a big, I think it's a big blow, I think, to the BJP, which should take some cues from the loss in these two seats. It can't just celebrate that it won, the Gujarat seat, but I think it's a huge blow, and it's true that there was, I think, a certain level of arrogance also. It seems one senior BJP leader said that even if a dog or a cat are fielded from Bankipur, the BJP will win. It was so comfortable and I think complacent, and in fact the low voter turnout also I think should have been an indicator because and of course the high in fact voter turnout in Datia. Okay, Datia was I think at 74 or something percent, while it was 34% in
Yeah,
uh,
I'll just interrupt you here. Let's hear
yeah.
what Prashant Kishor has said. I think his soundbite is there. Can we have the play out, Shravan, of this bite from Prashant Kishor?
जय बिहार सबसे यही है सर आज जाएंगे बहुत बहुत
Okay, so there's no soundbite, but we can
Yeah.
see the overwhelming sentiment over there. I think Prashant
Yeah.
Kishor wanted to speak, but apparently he chose to hold himself. Maybe he's waiting for the results and then he might
Yeah.
speak. Yes, Rajlakshmi.
Yeah. So there's something, in fact, also interesting that I'm not sure whether it's true, but the RJD, the fact that it took a back seat in
Yes.
Bankipur, I don't know whether there was an understanding between the RJD and the Jan Suraj that let us keep uh, the BJP out, and at least the best whatever uh, candidate get ahead. So it's quite I think possible. I mean, it could have happened because it's a fact that Tejashwi Yadav he didn't campaign at all, and it was like okay, it's okay, I mean, so I think I did sense that there was something off there, but that it would take yeah. So I do not think that the RJD is also I think particularly upset by the fact that their candidate did not do all that well. But again, the margins again. I think he's inching towards. I think he's leading with 38,000 votes. I think Prashant Kishore is, and he might reach up to 50,000. And match
Yeah.
Nitin Nabeen's margin in the
No, I
25
think there are 31
votes.
rounds. 31
Yeah,
rounds of counting has
yeah.
to happen. Let's
24
get to
are done.
Faizan. Faizan, you must be following it closely, the Bankipur election results. How many more rounds are left, and what is the current lead?
Well, 26 rounds have been completed, and
Okay.
PK is leading by about 16,000 votes. And
Okay.
four or five, 31 rounds will be held, so 5 rounds more. Uh,
Right.
well, but it is a now foregone conclusion that PK has won this election. And you see,
So
as
this is 4:30. This is
yeah,
4:30 p.m. This is 4:30
yeah,
p.m. You are sticking your neck out and saying that it's a foregone conclusion that Prashant Kishore will win Bankipur.
yes, yes, definitely, because he has already a lead of 16,000 votes, and it is 26th rounds have been completed of
All right.
counting. You see,
All right.
Bankipur, has a tradition of low percentage of voting. If you see in the last 20 years, the voting percentage has been between 35 and 41%. That was lowest. 41% was the highest in this constituency. That was in November last year, and this time it was around 34%. And when this Nitin Naveen won this election in 2006, the voting percentage was as poor as 18%, just 18%, 18%. So you can say that it is quite surprising that why people in Bankipur do not prefer to vote, why they don't come out to vote. Uh, you see, this is a urban constituency. This is a constituency dominated by the upper caste voters, and these people, educated people, they have a maximum per capita income in the entire Bihar. So it is still very surprising why people they do not. Okay, we can say that they may not have an interest in a by-election, but in this by-election, everybody was talking about Bankipur. Everybody, not just in Bihar, but across the country. And in Bihar, in Bankipur constituency itself, every nook and corner you go, anywhere, and everybody was discussing this election. I am sure that they have not voted. They were just discussing it on the on the streets, but they did not go to vote. I don't know, and I'm still wondering why uh, this tradition of low voting percentage.
Right.
You see,
All right.
RJD, and one thing more.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
RJD's candidate Rekha Gupta is on for third position with hardly 15,000, 16,000 votes. Last time she garnered about 46,000 votes against Nitin Navin's 98,000 votes. But RJD never won this seat. When Lalu Prasad and Rabdi Devi were in power for
But do
15
you
years,
also sense what Rajlakshmi pointed out, that there could be a tacit understanding between Prashant Kishor's party and RJD? Do you also sense something like that on the ground?
there are allegations. You see, a Congress functionary, he has he stated that there was a deal between Tejasvi Yadav and the BJP, and that is why he came. He was asked by the BJP to come and campaign for his candidate Rekha Devi. He came, yes, although he was in Europe, but he came 2 days before the campaigning ends, and for 2 days he campaigned for his candidate. Otherwise, I am confident that Rekha Gupta would not have gained more than 10,000 votes. It was because of the Tejasvi's presence for 2 days that she has received so many votes now. So this is because one thing is how politically I want to say that Tejasvi Yadav does not like PK to enter the assembly. Tejasvi Yadav is the leader of the opposition, but he remains out of uh, away from the assembly when this week-long session was going on. He remained out of the country. He has absolutely very little interest in what is happening in the assembly or what is going on. So, but when PK will enter the assembly, he will speak loudly. He will attack the government, the chief minister, its ministers, and so Tejasvi will feel that he is being sidelined by a vocal leader like PK. And similarly, the chief minister Samrat Chaudhary will also not like PK
Right.
in the
All right.
assembly because
Right. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that even RJD would feel timid. And of course, for BJP, it's a big, big setback. But about the larger message, this by-election of Datia and Bankipur, Puneet, coming to you for the concluding comments and then to Rajlakshmi. What kind of a shocker is it for BJP? And BJP, even if it gets these kind of shockers, BJP is known to spring back with its new strategies, with its new tactics. What do you think that BJP now could be doing after if they lose, though the final results have not come up, but Bankipur and Datia, BJP loses, what do you think would be the learning lessons for BJP?
Well, the first would be to get rid of its hubris. And that's something that completely consumed this party. And it's about time that they learn a lesson or two from these elections. Having said that, see, the fact is they can also take some comfort from the by-election result in Gujarat.
Yes.
Of having retained the Manjalpur seat and by a very huge margin. Because that's a constituency again, traditional BJP seat and all that. But this was an election where there are two signs. One worrying thing for the Congress, because the AAP did not field a candidate from Manjal. Okay, so it was, this is in fact the only constituency out of the 3 going to Bypolls where there were only 2 candidates in the fray. If you look at the Bankipur seat, there were close to 20, 21, over 20 odd candidates. In Datia, there were 21 candidates. In Manjalpur, there were only 2 candidates. And in a straight fight, the Congress managed to lose badly. So they don't even have the excuse now of saying that the AAP ate into our votes. Okay. This is also in a series of successive bypoll losses for the Congress in Gujarat. And this is a state that is going to polls end of next year. So, I mean, the BJP clearly has got something right in Manjalpur, which, it needs to kind of work in that same fashion in other areas, so that its hold doesn't, if it doesn't want its hold on those constituencies, traditional strongholds like Bankipur. Datia, I wouldn't call it traditional stronghold because it's not a seat, barring Narottam's 3 terms, back-to-back 3 terms. It's not a constituency that has always been with the BJP in that sense. So, but there was definitely a sense of hubris and which was evident in the way they denied Narottam a ticket. Ever since he lost the constituency in 2023, he had been working because on the ground in that constituency, and in fact, I mean, I had a word with him.
Puneet, will BJP try and bring back Narottam Mishra maybe for next year's elections, or maybe also for 2029 elections?
Well, let's see whether there is that thing on the table, as an offer to to Narottam, if that is at all on the table, whether they want to bring him in, because Narottam within the BJP has always been a problematic figure. He's a very hardline leader as a minister, and in fact, this was one of the reasons cited by many people when in the BJP when he was denied a ticket, that if he had contested and managed to win, he would have created problems for Mohan Yadav, the chief minister. When Shivraj Singh was the CM and Narottam was the home minister, come health minister under Shivraj, I have personally witnessed, people in the chief minister's office, senior bureaucrats very close to the CM, saying that in matters related to the home ministry, the CM office will not interfere because Narottam will not let the chief minister interfere. Narottam will do things the way Narottam wants. So there's also that which the BJP would have, thought about, that if he comes back, he'll create problems for Mohan Yadav, who hasn't yet stabilized his, control over the party in MP. So there was always that issue for them. But the fact is that this was an election which was also a test for Mohan Yadav. Whether he is able to take up rebellion, take on rebellion within the party, whether he can rally support for the party in a region which is not his own. He comes from the Malwa region. He's from Ujjain. He is not someone who has a strong presence in Bundelkhand, where Narottam comes from. And Narottam's influence extends beyond Datia.
Yes.
In Gwalior and all, in Bhader and the adjoining areas. So definitely a sign of worry for the BJP in both Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, and a reason for the Congress to be very worried about Gujarat.
Absolutely. So if you look at the picture in totality, coming to you, Rajlakshmi, for the final comments, are these by-elections a test case, or rather a fit case to judge or maybe conclude that is the aura of BJP diminishing now? Because when you see the chief ministers, the performance, like what Puneet said, that it's a test case for Mohan Yadav, he was not able to deliver. Then about the BJP president himself, Nitin Nabeen, who's not been able to deliver. None of the things seem to be working for BJP, at least from the cases of Datia and Bankipur. So is it like a wake-up call, you would say, for BJP?
Yeah, it's a big, it's a major wake up call. I mean, and they should in fact sort of take these results seriously and not just be sort of happy about the Gujarat outcome. I mean, in fact, the seat which was their seat, okay, for years altogether, and which was also a prestigious seat because of the national president. I mean, has been lost to a complete, it's a newcomer in that sense, for I mean, because it's electoral debut, of Prashant Kishor. So I think they should see, the writing on the wall, and that it's not going to be easy. See, in fact, both the states, uh, in fact, were led, by BJP led governments, and there was no reason for them. I mean, in fact, and one would assume that the Bypolls would go the way, the incumbent party, and government, but clearly it did not happen.
Yes.
Either they were too smug, or either but I do not think it's just smugness. I think there is this undercurrent, of resentment. Nilu,
Absolutely.
which stems from the overall situation in the
Right.
country, which also reflected in these outcomes. So
Right.
I
I'm
think they
sure,
should.
yeah, and I'm sure other BJP leaders, also including Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, are seeing and watching this result. And I don't know what corrective steps they would take. But clearly, it seems that this anti-incumbency against the BJP seems to be setting in with these results. We'll have to still wait and watch for the final tally of this result. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Faizan Ahmed, TK Raj Lakshmi, Puneet. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.